If it's a joint, we can treat it. If it's muscles, we can treat it.
I love the personal attention that we give to our patients on a day-to-day basis.
So I'm Harry Koster. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm the owner of Spine and Rehab Specialists.
My name is JT Killings. I'm a physical therapist. I do have my doctorate in physical therapy.
I grew up in the Netherlands, and there they really force you a lot to look into your career early on. So they make you go to a bunch of open houses of schools that you may be interested in. And I was going to go into a totally different field, agriculture, but that was just not the schooling that I wanted to do. So I ended up going to an open house of physical therapy school, and it just really something that I wanted to do. I figured I can use my brain and my hands at the same time, and that's ended up being my field of choice. So
I too am from the Netherlands. Not really. I'm from El Paso, born and raised. I'm a local guy. I started doing observation with a local orthopedic surgeon, going through clinical visits and observing surgeries. He made the recommendation on one particular patient that I follow her through her rehab. So she was a total knee replacement. So I followed her through her 8-week trial through physical therapy, and I really liked what I saw. I liked the interaction with the patient. I loved seeing the progress from being, a very low-level post-op, hardly walking and having a hard time moving, to, being back on her feet. So I started volunteering more full-time in the physical therapy clinic, and that turned into a technician role, and here I am. PT school at the time, it had just transitioned from a master's program to a doctorate program. So you do have to have an undergraduate degree in something as long as you have all the required science prerequisites and anatomical prerequisites. I got my undergraduate degree in kinesiology with a minor in biology. Applied for PT school here in El Paso, and I got accepted to be in the first graduating class for the doctorate from UTEP. So that was in 2010. I graduated in 2012.
When I graduated PT school in the Netherlands, it was the only country that had too many physical therapists. So there were just no jobs. We had the best physical therapy education in the world, but no jobs, available. So probably half my class went to a foreign country, and I ended up picking the United States. I signed up after a year in Beaumont, Texas, the far, corner of Texas on the other side, like 900 miles away or so. I signed up to be a traveling physical therapist with the company that brought me over. And they placed me in El Paso, and I ended up falling in love with El Paso. So I had worked for probably about 10 years and never found a place that did physical therapy right, in my opinion. So then I figured at some point, then I just need to open my own clinic and do physical therapy right. Started in November of 1997, so 21 years ago. Started just one-man practice. I had a part-time front desk person and a part-time technician, and I was part-time in the beginning. And we started out in the 5 Points area of El Paso, old part of town. What happened is, coming from Europe, we like vacations, more than Americans do. And when I took my first vacation, that really put a damper on the clinic the way it was, because I wasn't there. I had a really good guy filling in for me, but it just wasn't the same. So then I came to the conclusion a one-man practice and taking vacations wasn't going to match. So then I figured I needed to grow a little bit, and that growing a little bit just ended up ongoing, and we're still growing. So now I have 2 locations. We did move the original location from 5 Points to the Bassett area, and then we opened this one in 2005.
I started working here in 2002. So at my previous place of employment, I actually worked with Harry's wife. She was an athletic trainer at the clinic that I was working at. And she made the comment to me, "Hey, why don't you go have a conversation with my husband? I think you need some help." So I literally just walked in. He had no idea I was coming. I literally just walked in, and he was running towards his office, running around, running the clinic by himself, and said, "Hey, I'm JT." And that's pretty much how I came to start working here in 2002.
Probably the number one thing that I enjoy is making people function better. Have them have less pain, better mobility, more strength, and just go back to their everyday activities. That's the part that I really like about physical therapy.
Restore that patient back to their ideal of functional ability.
There's a lot of research that shows that if you do physical therapy early on, a lot of times you can avoid taking the next steps. We are very conservative. We're not invasive. We're not, it's not surgery. We're not injecting any materials into anybody. It's non-chemical, so there's no medication involved in what we're doing. So anytime you can avoid all those things, that is desirable. So the earlier on you do physical therapy, the better it is. We have lots of ways of helping with pain through a lot of different modalities. We do a lot of hands-on treatment, manual therapy, and then we do a lot of exercises. So it's all naturally based. And there's more and more research out there that really shows that physical therapy is, as good as or better than some of the more invasive treatments. You do not need a referral to come in for an evaluation, but if you want treatments, you do need to have a referral from, and it can be a doctor, a nurse practitioner, a PA, chiropractor, it can even be a dentist or a podiatrist. We are trying to get rid of that requirement. There's actually a House bill and a Senate bill. They're both trying to eliminate that. There's only 2 states in the country that still have that requirement, and Texas is one of them. So we feel that patients should be able to choose us, again, because the research shows that if you can come to us first, we can avoid, getting people on opioids or, getting them, to the next step. So we're trying to get rid of it. At this point, the answer is yes, if you want treatment, you still need a referral.
I mention this all the time to the staff. I mention it all the time to the patients. I don't want physical therapy to be a place where they think they have to go to. I want it to be a place where they look forward to coming to, where they realize and appreciate the benefits that they're getting out of the treatment. So I want them to look forward to coming in. I want it to be an atmosphere where it's friendly, it's lighthearted, it's productive. We're talking about patients that usually have a bubble that's closing in on them. Either it's because of pain or limited functional abilities. They're not able to go out and socialize with friends. They're not able to do their sports activities that they want to. They're not able to, go walk around the park or go to the movies or go out to dinner with their family. Their life is kind of caving in on them. So we want it to be an escape from that. We want to have an open, fun-loving environment where they are happy, where they enjoy the company that they have here, and they're seeing progress. They're making gains, and their eyes are being opened to the possibilities that, hey, your life doesn't have to be so enclosed. It doesn't have to be, this isn't it for you. You can return and get back to some of the things you want to get back to. So it should be a very, enlightening and very enjoyable, very, appreciative environment. And that's kind of what I want to produce and what I want or expect my patients to experience.
We see all ages. I think the youngest patient ever in the clinic is 1 month, and the oldest one was 98. So the age range isn't typical. The conditions aren't typical. Yes, we see a lot of spine. I mean, that's why it's in our name. In a typical physical therapy clinic, that's probably 50% of our business, and it is for us. But we also see people with knee problems, hip problems, whether it's an ACL that needs to recover and go back to sports, or a total knee patients, or just arthritic patients, ankles, shoulders, elbows, hands. We really do see all of that. So we don't really have a typical patient. Typical patient is somebody who probably has pain somewhere.
I think myself and all the therapists here, we really do a very thorough and comprehensive initial evaluation. So we have usually anywhere from a 10 to 30 minute sometimes conversation on, what is the issue? What's going on with you? Not only medical diagnoses, but how is it affecting your life? What are your goals? What is it that is important to you that we need to help or we can help to get you back to? Then, of course, after taking that information, I want to look into the physical range of motion. I want to look at muscle flexibility. I want to look at joint mobility. I want to look at strength. If it takes me there, I want to look at some neurologic signs, reflexes, or sensitivity. I want to look at balance. So oftentimes an injury can result in a risk of fall or balance deficits, or if they're coming here for dizziness or vestibular issues, then I'm definitely looking into balance. Then, of course, I take all that information and compile it in my brain and my computer and come up with a plan, best course of action on how we can appropriately use our tools to fit that individual person to not only improve upon their physical functional limitations, but also the mental aspect, and have it tie into their specific goals.
We actually had a patient in the clinic recently who just had a lot of things happen to her. She had a stroke, her heart stopped beating, she was on a ventilator in a bed, and she was, first of all, her family was told that she probably wasn't going to survive. And then she was told that she was, probably never going to walk again, maybe never talk again. And we had her to the point where she was pushing a sled with her therapist on it. She was lifting a heavy box, I think with 40 or 50 pounds or so in it. So when you see those kind of successes, that is awesome. I remember years ago, there was a college football player who had a stroke, which is pretty unusual because he was 21, 22, something like that. But his goal was still to end up playing in the NFL. So we took him from pretty much, being very weak, both arms, both legs, but more on one side than the other side. Very poor coordination. He had very much difficulty talking, and he did end up playing in the NFL. So when you see that, that's awesome. And we should really see that whole range of patients from, people that, want to be able to get out of their wheelchair and stand up so it's easier on their family, to people that want to play professional sports. So that makes our field so awesome when you see that whole range. So every patient really is special to us.
We see remarkable recoveries every day, and that's really why I like what I do and love what I do. A couple of good stories that stand out. I just had a patient that I discharged yesterday. She had a history of 10-year history of back pain. And it all started from a car accident and got worse. She had 2 kids, and it just kind of kept getting worse. And she had gone through alternative treatments. She had gone through physical therapy before. She had gone through chiropractic. She had injections. She came here and was really skeptical on whether or not we would have anything to provide her. She was unable to stand and walk for more than 10-15 minutes without having to sit down. She was unable to sit in a chair for more than 20 minutes without having to stand up. So you can see how that could definitely impact a person's life. In 2 weeks, I had her pain-free. She was able to, she told me she had 0 limitations with sitting, 0 limitations with standing and bending and taking care of her kiddos. After a 10-year history, and that's what I told her, after 10 years of being in pain and having your life condensed, now you're free again. You can do whatever you want to do.
Probably what sets us apart the most is that we truly work with a patient one-on-one, hands-on, just about every single time. So it's labor intensive, but it's also, the most efficient, works the best, most fun for us. I love still truly working with a patient one-on-one every single time.
I feel what really sets us apart is that we really do care about our patients. From the moment they walk in the door, at the front desk, the way that we greet them, the way that we respect what's going on with their condition, from the minute they meet the therapists and we sit down and have that intensive one-on-one conversation where I really dive in to find out what's going on with you, and find out their stories and what have they been through and what's their goals and what they're trying to get out of physical therapy, to showing them, hey, that, we can help and this doesn't have to be your life from here on out. To, all the help, the staff, the supportive staff that we have here. We really try to create an environment where we show the patient we do care, because we do care about our patients. Each and every one of them is important to us. Each and every one of them is special to us in their own way. And it means the world to me to have my patients walk out of here content, happy, joyful, because they've returned to their life and they can get back to doing the things that they want to do. And so that's really the end goal of it all.
The address here is 1779 North Zaragoza, Suite A. The phone number here is 915-855-6466. The Edgemere location is 6358 Edgemere Boulevard. And the phone number there is 915-562-8525, although you can call either number. Our website is www.spinerehab.net.